Right, let's talk Fallout on Amazon Prime. Fallout, relatively good season one in terms of its overall response from people. 93% critics, 88 from audience on Rotten Tomatoes. It's done pretty damn well. I've watched it all. I've done it. I've given everyone my review of it. I think it's important to list what your experience is with the franchise. So I have played Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. I typically speaking don't play sandbox games because they quite literally consume my soul, my very existence. It's essentially like a vampire to me. It just drains me dry because I just get lost in them. Like I'll spend 3 hours just walking across a landscape doing absolutely bugger all, but finding it incredibly fascinating. So Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 are the games that I've played. I absolutely adored this. I thought it was really, really good. Is it absolutely perfect? No. I think it's a very, very good adaptation, though. I liked it a lot. I think the aesthetic was there, the set pieces were there, the acting was there, the writing was there. It was very tongue in cheek when it needed to be. It was very serious when it needed to be. It had the aesthetic down, it had the score down. Walton Goggins is absolutely exceptional as he always is.
Yes.
And I'm very, very keen to see where they go moving forwards. I actually really, really, really appreciated the fact that the show had its main mission, and then he went on loads of little side missions. I really liked that. And the thing is, these characters were not perfect. They were flawed. Some of them were assholes. Some of them were, really, really quite nefarious people. And I appreciate it. There was character arcs all round. There were character sort of growth. Motivations were clear. It was good. It's everything is there that you would want in a show, I think, personally. And they very clearly spent some money on this. I mean, it's funny because you look at, say, the Rings of Power, for instance, there's like $1 billion or some dog shit. And then you look at Fallout and you're like, that looks more expensive, because it does. Like, it genuinely looks more expensive. Some of those sweeping shots, the landscape shots, it's great. I really enjoyed it. Over to you, Chris. I know you haven't finished it, but what do you
Well,
think?
I've only sampled this. I have not finished the series. One of your viewers, actually, who writes for Bleeding Fool, is a little past halfway on it. To the Shark of Paper, big hello to him.
Yeah.
I had not played the game. This thing looks great, and you're spot on. It looks so much better and is so much better, more entertaining than Rings of Power. It kind of made me think, I wasn't familiar with Alita Battle Angel. I don't think you have to be familiar with Fallout to enjoy this.
No, you really don't.
I don't think so. And you're right. Goggins is a national treasure here.
Yeah.
Just a fan. He does seem to be typecast, I think, but he just does it so well. I mean, it's just everything about this show is good so far. Have not finished it, but I am glad to hear that it ends well.
Oh, it is. It's amazing. And the somebody asked in the chat what the big water monster is. That's called a gulper. Yeah, and you could find them in the DLC from Fallout 4. But every single element of this just read good sci-fi. We haven't had good sci-fi very regularly in a while. So,
and good fan service. Good, from what I understand, it's got great fan service. I mean, I know there's a few things, but you can't expect these adaptations to be 100% perfect. But if everyone would follow this model, I think we'd have a lot more happy moviegoers who like these video game and comic book adaptations. At least in this, I'm hearing you don't have to say, "Oh, that's in the comics" or "That's in the game" or whatever, because the whole thing is from the game. And I love the aesthetics. I think it's really, what I've seen is just beautiful.
Shady Sands, or whatever the city that appears in that, is like a reach back in time, and there's like all of these great elements in this show. Walking through it for the better part of 8 hours or whatnot, it didn't feel like a struggle or a chore. I will say you can definitely see some casting choices that were definitely made because of Hollywood and Amazon. But overall, I would still say that the most intriguing character is the ghoul, played by Walter Goggins. And the fact that you can track him back to, the day the bombs fell,
right,
is fantastic.
Right. shots, the way they use it in this is great. I mean, it's so well done.
Yeah.
And the girl, you know, she's not a Mary Sue. You kind of would have expected that, but she has these failures, and then she does learn from, you know, the mistakes that she's making.
Oh yeah.
So this is how you do a female protagonist. I would hope Hollywood would pay attention.
Yeah, and at first, that's so funny because at first I was like I was like, well, what is this girl? How is she related to this? And then she does grow. I mean, she grows throughout the whole show, and you're like, wow, that's really well done. And when they gave us her name, it was Lucy McLean. I'm like, I was like, is that a reference to the the famous movie Nakatomi Tower? Brain just stopped working. Die Hard, yeah, but it wasn't. Her dad's last name was McLean, and it's a very interesting story all the way to the end. I won't spoil it for anybody, but I rated it very high. Rated it very, very high. I do think this is an 8.5 out of 10, and I don't see that very much anymore. So it was joyful, and there were 4 points where I was taken aback because I was listening to the music from the game. In the show. I mean, I'm like, oh wow, I know that screen. Yeah, that's what my head was doing. So.
Nice.
What about the oh well, let's get your opinion as well, Andre. Let's get what
just to begin with, I have obviously never played the game. I'm aware that there is a game, that it goes back to the 90s, never played a single one of them. So I go in without any expectations other than that it has Walton Goggins. I'm very, very glad to hear all of the praise here. As long-time watchers will know, I've been speaking about Walter Goggins for as long as there has been a Midnight's Edge. Of all actors working today, and I mean all, he's my absolute favorite. He is the one actor whose presence is in any movie or any TV series will motivate me to check it out just because he is in it, because he is that good. So this is a series that, like The Last of Us and like whatever video game series there may be, I probably wouldn't have checked out, but I have because he's in it. To me, that's the selling point. And I'm very glad that I did, because I've seen the first 2.5 episodes so far, and I think it's amazing. I really tremendously enjoy it, which means that there's 2 series I have seen this year which I have really tremendously enjoyed. I can't wait for watching the rest of the season, and I hope that this thing is going to continue, because I was very pleasantly surprised by this. I mean, some of the stuff that Walton Goggins is in, he's always fantastic and he always elevates it, but sometimes there's only so much one actor can do. But here, so far, with what I've seen so far, it's just fired on all cylinders, everything. I especially even love the look at the past with the retrofuturism, which is I think is fantastic. Like this alternate, I don't know if it's supposed to be 50s, 60s, 70s, but it's just like this alternate take of retrofuturism, which is fantastic. I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, thumbs up for me so far. Loving this.
Yeah, it gets better because you keep going backwards and forwards, so you see a little bit more of that story play out throughout the show. So yeah, you definitely see a little bit more of all of that. The set design's so good in this. I had such a good time. What so Culture, you're the one that can answer this, I guess. What did you think of the exploratory vault mission of Lucy's brother? How about that? That was good, wasn't it?
It was very well crafted, and it leans into the
This story was some of the best.
I know, and I'm like, and then figuring it out, and then finding out that now gosh, I know there's spoilers involved in this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. What I'll say is that is amazing. Some of the stuff that happens in the background that's not even part of the main storyline is phenomenal. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out from others, why certain things get done and why certain other things don't get done. Characters self-sabotage. You have that sense or feeling of you know, you can see experiments being conducted in places and in ways, and then you know, the revelation.
There was a tease. Well, you tell me, because I definitely think there was a tease of the super mutants.
Yes,
in the Enclave, there definitely was, right?
Yeah. The work that was being done in the Enclave, and the fact that they had located and recreated something that is basically the most important thing in the show, part of the main mission, and that pays off. So this is a weird thing, right? You still have a storyline, but everything paid off. Everything they presented had its payoff by the last episode, and ultimately in the last episode. So it's like you're like, this is bloody amazing. How did they do this? And then it reminded me of something. Okay. And this is where it's going to get very strange. I watched a great sci-fi show just a few years ago. It was on HBO. You had to pay TV to watch this. And it came out when they were getting ready to start winding down another show that they had at the time called Game of Thrones. And it was a sci-fi show. It was about a vacation destination where people would go and play cowboy with robots.
Yeah.
Westworld.
Yeah.
And why does that matter? Because the guys that gave you the first season of Westworld gave you the first season of Fallout.
The first season of Westworld was fantastic.
Did we get bait and switch?
Yeah, it was indeed. Well, you know what? Considering how good the first season of Westworld was before it fell apart, if he's able to get back, I don't know what happened in season 2, but if he's able to get back to this mojo back again to where it was with Westworld season 1 in this thing right here, I'm very happy to sacrifice the Westworld series. Fine, it was a first attempt. J.J. Abrams was there. It was never going to work out long term. This is that same talent, but as far as I know, without any J.J. Abrams influence. So it has every shot at being better. So I just keep this thing going. Let's have a great 7-season series here. I'm all for it. This is awesome. So yeah.
How many games have there been for Fallout? 5? 4?
6, I guess. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 main games. There's also New Vegas, that makes 5, and then there's 76, which I guess technically makes it 6.
Actually, there's a handheld game called Vault Dweller or something that you can play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the phone game.
You know, they're Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Did really well. Also, it kind of not, and I didn't play that game either, but I know about sort of the aesthetics and the way that game was set up. And although the critics didn't care for the movie, it was a huge hit for them, and they're coming back with more. And obviously, with multiple sequels to the games, there's plenty of material. Hopefully, they'll continue this trajectory with Fallout. I hope so. I'm glad to see a show like this after Rings of Power from Amazon. I want there to be good shows on Amazon because I'm a subscriber, obviously. And I enjoyed Reacher, and I've enjoyed The Terminal List and other series over on Amazon. I'm worried about what they're going to do with James Bond, but maybe they'll respect the lore and like this studio obviously has for Fallout. I hope so.
Well, some people are sort of some people think that they haven't respected the lore because there's different laws pre-Bethesda. So, but then I've never played those games, so I can't say. But there were some comments coming through on my review where people were like, "Well, no, actually, it doesn't negate the lore." Because some of that's headcanon of people. It wasn't out and out stated. So I don't know. I literally have no idea.
I think those kind of debates are fun, amongst the diehard fans. But
no, some people that like have played 1 and 2 and New Vegas are pissed at this.
No.
Like they're really angry. So, but I don't know. Like it's difficult for me because I've never played it. So I'm just going off of tangential sort of opinions from people, so it is a bit tricky. But some people say no, some people say definitely. But all in all, if you've played 3 and 4, and if you've never played the games, watch it. It's really good. It's well worth your time. I think. Personally.
Yeah, I plan to finish it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I binge watched it. I think it took me like don't know, 2 days, something like that. Like I was into it, heavily into it. D has joined the conversation on this and super chat $20 over on Streamlabs. Says, I love the Fallout show. I played the first 2 games, but paid attention to the other games. I was hooked on the first episode and hope the second season holds up. Another show to look at. Sugar on Apple TV Plus. Wonderful show. Well, thank you so much for the super chat first. Yeah, I'll have to check out Sugar, I guess. This definitely needs a second season. This would be great. I'd love a second season of this. And it's clearly set up for a second season. And in terms of Amazon Prime, like, what do they have? They don't really have much. So it makes sense that they would do.
Oh, they got
they're expanding their portfolio of originals.
And obviously Godzilla -1. I know you've had to have seen that news, Nate.
What news?
That Prime is going to be streaming Godzilla.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that. No, that's great.
May 3rd. Well, let me. There's a caveat that they've only announced Amazon Prime Japan May 3rd.
Right.
So, the VPN users are out there.
True.
Watch Midnight's Edge if you want to get your VPN of choice. But
yeah, I was about to say, but I won't right here. But I appreciate the plug.
But they're also going to put Black and White on there, and they're also going to put Shin on.
Very nice.
So it should be coming to Amazon universally very soon.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Daniel Leash has
been a member for 2 months, and he says, from what reviews I've seen, I'm going to be predisposed to hating Fallout. The East Coast events that Bethesda wrote are lacking compared to Fallout New Vegas. I'd give it a chance, man. It's a great show. Genuinely, I would give it a chance.